Good morning, everybody. We're excited for webinar series number 5, episode number 5 in our series of our webinars on the highest and best use real estate investing. Very excited to share with you some powerful techniques today. And this is one of the most important things that I teach that we're going to be sharing with you today, which is a system called Power Teams. As you remember, the things that are required for all successful investors, if you want to ever be bigger than yourself and accomplish those things in life, the success that you're looking for, you're going to want to practice leverage. You want to learn how to leverage people, properties, and money. You also want to have a powerful vision, and then you want to get systems in place. So we're going to talk today a little bit about leverage and systems and teams, all those things, because these are what makes the investors as powerful as they are. And we want to teach you how to do that. So leverage is a great thing. Now, the law of leverage basically suggests the highest levels of success cannot be achieved alone. You and your life will never be bigger than yourself until you learn to leverage your skills and talents with other people and assets. Now, the neatest part about this law of leverage, probably one of the biggest things that we teach with this, is a program called Power Teams. Now, a power team by definition, and I chose that word power because they are powerful. In fact, I have noticed throughout the time of my teaching these seminars across the country and my system for years and years and years, I've never met a student of mine that was practicing Power Teams on a high level that was not a millionaire. I have not ever found one person who was practicing Power Teams and doing all the things that we show on Power Teams that was not a millionaire. In fact, most of them are multimillionaires that we've seen over time. So this is a very powerful technique, and it takes a lot of effort, but it is well worth what you have to do to accomplish that, and you'll see exactly why this is so amazing, this technique. Now, a power team basically consists of a group of people that work in any of the ancillary businesses to real estate that is created by an investor. That's you. These team members can also be people that have the opportunity to help the investor find real estate properties, partnerships, and capital through non-competing methods. They can also do competing methods too, but we also want to have them use that non-competing mindset when they consider the non-competing methods. So let's talk about power teams and kind of how they came to fruition. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story here that is pretty cool. Back in the day, I used to be a real estate agent and broker for 14 years, and I did quite a bit of business as a real estate agent and a broker. In fact, I owned my own RE/MAX franchise and my own personal real estate company after I sold my RE/MAX franchise. And one of the things that I learned was there were a lot of people in and around real estate that wanted to benefit from what I was doing as a realtor. Now, what I mean by that was I did a lot of closings. I made a lot of sales, and every time I did a closing, the title companies, for example, had a lot of business come through. I was constantly working with buyers, and so I had a lot of chances to refer buyers to mortgage brokers, for example. All of the properties that I put under contract and sold, the vast majority of them had appraisals done. Many of them had home inspections done. They had surveys done. We worked with architects and engineers and property managers and contractors and subcontractors, developers, builders. We did all these things in the regular course of doing business as a real estate professional. Now, one of the things I learned was as the more and more business I did, the more these professionals sought me out. So I'd be at my office and title companies would come in. There was title company after title company would come in and try to invite me to go to lunch. They wanted to treat me to lunch and tell me what they did and tell me how well they take care of me and my clients, and that I should start referring deals to them. Same with mortgage brokers. There were quite a few mortgage brokers that did the same thing. There were always people and companies bringing things by the office, and it got kind of, to be honest with you, a little bit overwhelming because it was constant. It was never ending, and they would bring you pens, and they would bring you on Thanksgiving, you'd get a turkey. On Christmas, you'd get a poinsettia. On Halloween, you'd get a little box of candy, and on the 4th of July, you'd get some fireworks. And they were always bringing these things over, folders and desk calendars and pens and pads and little squishy balls for stress with their logo on it. And I appreciated that they cared and were trying to earn their business. So I don't want to sound condescending with what I'm about to say, but the reality was it was took a lot of my time. And I didn't necessarily want to switch from who I had because I had some really good people. So as I was doing this, I started asking myself, these people want so badly to be a part of the business that I'm doing. What are some things I could have them do that would really benefit me? So this was one of the first things I created with the Power Team mindset was, how can these people in and around real estate benefit me? And I'm not just saying, hey, what can I get for free? What can these folks do for me that would benefit both of us, be mutually beneficial? Now, about that same time, I was going to a business group. I was attending a business group. There were a bunch of different professionals in different industries. They weren't necessarily in and around real estate, but we would attend meetings in the morning and have breakfast, and we'd all take a minute and talk about our business and how we can send and receive referrals back and forth to people. And I liked the concept of this, although most of the people in those groups were not real aggressive with sending referrals. They were aggressive about wanting to receive things, but they didn't send a whole bunch. And most of the leads that were sent were not real positive and have a high outcome. But I could see, again, there was a group of professionals there that wanted to benefit with the referral system that we could create as a group. So that impressed me, and I thought, that system's a little bit broken the way they're doing it. And then at the same time, I was closing a real estate deal one time with my title guy, and I had a pretty handsome profit on the deal. And I kind of laughed as we're signing. He's going through the documents with me, and I said, hey, how do you like that one? Because this guy had seen a whole bunch of things that I had done with business and my franchise and the investing and all. I mean, he saw everything. I saw the client closings, the investing. There's just a ton of stuff that he got to see. So I said, how do you like that one? Well, I guess he wasn't having a particularly good day, because he looked at me and he said, I hate you. And it really caught me off guard, because I had felt like we had become really good friends. And I said, what did you just say? And he said, I hate you. And then he kind of did a half smile and said, Mike, it's really hard to sit here and watch this. And I said, what do you mean? I said, I thought we had a good thing going here. I'm bringing you a ton of business. You've received a lot of business from me, and I'm very loyal to you. I'm surprised to hear this. And he goes, I know, I shouldn't have said that, but I'll tell you, it's really frustrating to watch how successful you are and all the things that you're doing, and not be able to do some of those things myself. And then he asked me a question that pretty much changed my life at that point. He said, the question I have for you, Mike, is, are you smart enough to teach me how to do the things that you're doing? And that felt like a punch in the gut. I was kind of devastated by the question. At the same time, I was kind of defensive and angry that I had made this guy, and he was excellent, so it wasn't just me, but this guy had done a ton of business, had done very well, was a in top demand escrow officer, in part because of the enormous amount of business that I sent his way. And to hear him say something like that really hurt my feelings. But after kind of getting through that and realizing, hey, I just got a friend that's in a little bit of pain here, I'm gonna be okay with this. And I went home, and I didn't stop thinking about that for some time. I was kind of ashamed and upset, and I felt a little guilty. And I started asking myself, am I smart enough to teach this guy how to do this? So with these things that were happening, all the pressure on my business from people that wanted to work with me, these business meetings I was going to that seemed like a good concept but weren't set up correctly, and then this instance that I had with this escrow officer, I came up with a technique called power teams. Now, this power team is basically, I started saying to myself, gosh, there's a whole bunch of things these people in and around real estate, hey, instead of bringing me a pen or bringing me some candy for Halloween or a heart cookie at Valentine's, why don't you do some work for me? Why don't I share with you some really cool things that you can do for me? So one of the things I did is I started identifying different cities that had great zones in them. For example, I'd find a zone that allowed fourplexes, and I would decide with the city what area were the best those were based on the zoning. I'd go into the land matrix and use charts. We'd find those areas, and then I would find what's the minimum required lot size for that zone. What's the minimum required frontage, the setbacks, where are there vacant properties that all of those things could fit on. And what I started doing is I would give these parameters. Instead of having my title guy get a pen to me, I'd say, hey, I need you to pull from First Street over here to 12th Street, and then from Jones to Jackson, here's a quadrant. I want you to pull all the properties for me, pull all the plats of properties, and get the mailing addresses, and create 3 sets of mailing labels to each property that fits this description for me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a campaign of buying these properties. We'll develop fourplexes. We'll develop other things too. And then, of course, when I do the business deal and we close the lot, you'll get the title search and the title closing. When I turn around and sell those later or refinance them, of course, we'll do all the business here. And they were ecstatic. And I thought to myself, hey, this is fantastic. I don't need these guys to give me a pen. They can do some business. And they got aggressive with it. And they started giving me lots and lots of information. And so what I did at that point was we started campaigns. And additionally, I started talking to my title guy and showing him some great investment deals they could do. And they got in a deal very quickly. They were very excited. It wasn't just lip service. I remember my title guy and one of his partners ended up buying a condo from me that they ended up making some pretty good money on. And that was a great opportunity for me to see that when you are an investor and you're doing great things, even if you're just starting out, but you're excited and you have a great vision of where you want to go, everybody around you wants to attach themselves to that vision and be a part of it. Now, the benefit for you, again, is to have a bunch of people working for you on a high level. So here's the purpose of the power teams. The purpose is to create a dynamic team of investors from the people that you are already working with or will be if you're brand new at this and affecting daily in your real estate activities. Now, some of you might say, I'm not a real estate agent. That's fine. I'm not one either. The other thing you might say is that I'm not, if I am a real estate agent, I'm not doing a ton of business. You know what? All you got to do to get these people as excited is to tell them you're going to start campaigns and do big things, and they will fall in line. That's how badly these guys have professional marketers that seek people out that are excited to do work. So you will have plenty of people that will get involved with you if you're just getting started. So they'll affect you daily in your real estate activities. Number two, they'll raise capital, become a cash buyer in your transactions. A lot of these people are willing to bring in capital if you partner with them and you actively participate in real estate deals together as a partnership. You create 30 new property hunters or bird dogs to find a consistent flow of properties and opportunities. I can't tell you how many people and properties these groups found for me. And what we're looking for here, write this down, is we're looking for distressed people, distressed properties, and capital. That's what we want these people to start looking for you as they provide you professional services. So next, they're also going to bring professionals in from all areas affected by your business to have expert advice and support. And if you don't have a network of people around you like I did with all those businesses and activities, everybody knows. All the good title people know good lenders. All the good lenders know good title people. All the good lenders know good appraisers and good inspectors and good surveyors. And it's a network. These guys all network together because the people that work well together love to refer business back and forth. Number five, this will give you a consistent and hungry client base that is constantly demanding new properties and providing the huge client-based commission income. So if you're put a group of these professionals together that are in and around real estate, I tell you, they see, you know how many real estate investment deals a good title person sees in a week or a month or a year? And how many times they've probably thought, gosh, I wish I was doing that. How do I get involved in that? I want to do more of that. Fantastic that way. Number six, get your power team members work done for you and your properties for wholesale instead of retail. So what I started learning is we started doing massive quantities of properties. These guys gave me fantastic pricing as well. Now, I didn't get in there and try to break them and beat their price down, but every dollar counts. And if we all work together, and the reality is they spend a lot of their money advertising to bring clients in. If they don't have to spend money to bring clients in, they don't have to charge the same pricing either. So we had some great benefits that way with group and bulk properties and discounts that way. And so you can create 30 areas of expertise instead of one. Now, we talked about area of expertise last week. And really, most of you haven't asked this often, but gosh, if you had a real estate area of expertise and it was functioning highly, why wouldn't you want more than one? Why wouldn't you have area of expertise in all the cities around you and 2 and 3 areas of expertise in each city? And the answer is you don't have the time in the day, and it takes a lot of effort. But if you were to create a team of people, and each one of those people that you led as a team leader had their own area of expertise, you could dominate a lot of real estate and find a lot of incredible deals. So that's what we're going to do, is set this up here for power teams. And what we want to do is get these professionals that are excited about real estate and start to create a participation, an opportunity for them to get involved in a power team. So a power team member's purpose for participation is the following. Number one, we're going to learn the foundation to success. So we want to teach these guys. These guys don't typically have a lot of investing experience, but they're very eager to learn. This foundation to success, it's a formula for consistent short-term and long-term real estate success for all, and you understand that. Number two, we want you to start showing them the deals that you're doing and help them create a vision for themselves. They'll see real estate deals in action, and then they'll get to learn from people who are actually doing the deals. So as you start doing deals, you can put these in front of them, and they will get excited and want to be a part of those deals. Number three, they become an investor in real estate deals and grow personal financial holdings. So if you offer that option to these guys, they're going to be thrilled to death to be a part of that. Number four, we're going to teach them how to partner with others in powerful real estate deals, and hopefully you'll be the partner in every deal. You'll be the leader of this group, and so that's powerful, and that's important that you do that. Right there. Number six, you watch your personal expertise and business explode from referrals from others in the group. So you'll watch that personal expertise and business explode from referrals in the group. So there'll be a lot of those guys that get a lot of business back and forth from other areas, kind of like one of these business groups, but more functional, simply because everybody's in and around real estate. You can become a recipient of major referrals in your life's work. And as I started my power team, I didn't just get a lot of real estate deals, investing deals referred to me. These guys referred a ton of regular clients to me too. So my commission income when I was a real estate agent and broker were fantastic that way. So it was a win-win-win-win-win. Everybody wants to do a win-win. This was a win-win-win-win. There was wins all across. These guys got to work with professionals. They got a lot of business. They got to invest in property. They got to invest in capital if they had some on deals they were actively participating in. And they got some great, fantastic options that way. So here's the formula for success for the power team. So again, you're taking these people with all this pent-up real estate demand, putting them together in a room, and you're going to start showing them the real estate investing process that you're learning, and you're going to start doing deals together. Now, as you sit down and interview people and decide whether or not they should be on your power team, because you want to make sure you've got good people there. You want to make sure that they have a minimum of a 2-meeting attendance for learning purpose and function of the team. And I typically would have them come to 1 or 2 meetings before I even signed them up. So they'd get to see it live, and they would get pretty excited about getting involved after they did that. I would give them a personal interview by the power team leader, which was me, and explain the roles and to find out about the members' personal assets and abilities. So we wanted people that had some assets so they could participate where they chose on capital and participate on deals and background and what other excellent things could they bring to the group. Now, when I signed them up to the group, I typically charged a fee. So I started out charging $999 for them to join the power team, for them to have access to this. And it's interesting to note they paid to be a part of the team. So they would pay to be a part of this team. They would get the power team set up, be a part of that power team, and then they'd come in and start investing. And I tell you, if I didn't charge them, they weren't always as serious as if I did. So you need to charge them, even if it's $199 to get started, or the first few are at $499, and then we got up to charging $2,000. I've had power teams charge $2,000, $2,500, $3,000. I've had power teams charge $2,000 and say if you don't have $50,000 or more of private capital that you're willing to invest on deals that you're going to work on personally and personally participate in, then you're not invited to our power team. So you have to have assets, background, experience, and willingness to use it. Now, if you're listening to this and you're saying, I don't know anyone like that, I don't have any assets, that's okay. You don't have to start out with that high requirement. Once you get your investing business going, you can shift your requirements as you go. And you will find that the majority of the people that you bring into the group will make a fantastic effort to participate and get the benefits of the group. But occasionally there's going to be people who don't participate, or they're sporadic, or they're not as professional as you would hope they would be, and you remove them from the group. So there will be turnover. And what I'm saying with this is there's a lot of ability on your part to raise up the standards as you go. So charge something for people to get started, because so they have a little bit of skin in the game. Now, the first thing they want to know when they get in is how quickly can I do some deals? And they're going to want to participate in the deals, watch the deals, be a part of the deals. I make all the deals that I do available to the power team members, and we get the power team members so that they're watching these deals, seeing them function, and they get very excited about that. So I would always set these minimum standards in 3, 4, and 5 here that I'll talk to you about. So the first couple of transactions we would do with a power team member, they'd come in and want to get involved immediately. I'd require that they do at least 2 transactions as an investor. So they'd put up some capital, and we did want them to participate in the deal. So we put up the investor money. They'd participate in the deal. They'd have some assignments. It wouldn't necessarily be a full-blooded work partner, but they did participate. So if it was the title guy, of course, they would do the title work, and they would do some other things. Because we do want them to participate in a little bit of the deal, so they prime the pump a little bit, and it would justify the capital outlay on their part, and they would get some returns as the capital. So the money would come back to them with some capital returns. The next thing, number 4, we would require at least 2 transactions as a partner. So we would say to them, hey, you can invest. You got to invest in a couple of deals. Show us that you're serious. Show us the work. You'll participate in the deals. You get a return on the capital. We'll secure the money for you. And it was a fantastic benefit that way. Now, the next option was for them to come in and be a partner. Now, for them to be a partner on a transaction, that's kind of a step up. For them to be a partner, they'd have to either put in the vast majority or all of the capital, or they'd have to find the transaction themselves. And again, if they're bringing the capital in, we're still going to have a very significant work role for them in a partnership agreement. So they have a full expectation that the success of the transaction will come from their efforts as well, and they get to learn while they're doing it. So really cool stuff. They'll get a minimum of 2 transactions as a partner, and they're very excited about that. Now, really rare. Now, some of you are thinking, why is it only 2? Well, it was very, 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 very rare that I wouldn't have someone that would start off and do 3, 4, 5 transactions as an investor and do a bunch of transactions as a partner, because they didn't necessarily want to take the weight of doing the deal themselves without some experience and some knowledge. And interestingly enough, some of the people in these groups never graduated to a client from partner, because they love partnering, especially when they're partnering with me. I've done a lot of real estate, and you'll have that chance as well with your expertise and what you're learning here. You'll have a lot of people that just don't want to do the deal on their own, and they'll just continue to partner with you. Now, some of them will say, hey, I'd like to do some of these deals myself. I'd like to try a couple of these deals myself. And that's a great chance for you to say, well, what deals are you finding? Number 1. And number 2, you can find deals and then assign them to them for a small fee. You can assign them to, we have real estate agents that run these groups, and they'll get the real estate commission on the deal, and they'll be the client. And so you'll get a commission going in and one going out. Or if you're not a real estate agent, you can put these deals under contract, assign them to them, and then the power team member can be the client and do the deal themselves. So you want to do those so that people don't just come in and demand it to get deals right away. Well, this isn't a deal factory for them. This is a deal factory for you while they learn and grow. And as a partner in number 4 there's a lot of money to be made when people work together. So you'll find in number 6 that the team members are actually going to find their comfort level and place in investing and continue as desired as long as participation is consistent. Now, you will find some power team members that will be in and around the deals and do some things here and there because they have to. And some of them don't want to. They just want to be and have all the professional affiliations with what's in the group. And you have to decide how much of that's fine for you. And if you want to allow that, and if they're being successful and investing in a couple of deals here and there, and they're partnering here and there and doing great with referrals, that's probably somebody I'd keep around. But you want people that are actively finding deals that they can bring to the group and actively finding money that they can bring to the group. And we'll kind of talk about that in a little further here. So when you start getting your power team set up, we've talked about a few of these things already, but we'll run through this. You got to be upbeat and aggressive in your relationships. If you're not excited, nobody else around you is going to be excited either. You know, when I started this first group and this first attempt at this, I had an enormous amount of business. So basically, I kind of had the clout to say, look, if I'm going to be doing this group, if you're interested in continuing with my business, you're going to be there, and here's how it works, and here's what we do. And I was nicer than that, but that's kind of the gist of the message there. And they understood, and they fell in line. And there was actually 1 or 2 that didn't want to do it, and I was kind of surprised. I'm like, all right, that's your choice, bro. But you want to be aggressive in your relationships and upbeat. You want to show enthusiasm that the business deserves. If you don't have enthusiasm, your team won't either. And one of the things I learned too was, you know, even as a very young investor, I started in my early 20s, 23, 24. I didn't have a lot of background, history, knowledge, experience, assets, money, credit, income. I didn't have any of those things. I didn't have a lot of them. I didn't have any of them. And because of how excited and enthusiastic and upbeat I was, people just wanted to work with me. It was just the way it was. And they had confidence in me that I was so excited that I'd figure it out. I'd make it work. So you want to get those things. Now you're going to want to tell your power team members that you're going to keep track of each member's activity and participation in investing and the referrals and things they do in the group. They don't just get to come in and receive referrals. They have to send them. And the two key things here, again, or three things, are they're going to find distressed people for you, distressed properties, and capital. So the other thing you're going to do is you're going to start having power team meetings, regular meetings, where you're going to have a meeting where there's some of our groups have done them early in the morning. They'll meet at 6:30 for breakfast and be out by 8:30. Others do it on an evening, 7 to 9, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, just whatever works for you and your group. You want to make sure you're having meetings no less than every 2 weeks. If you stop having meetings, the team's going to die. Now, you need to make sure that you're bringing great deals to each and every meeting, so there's opportunities always in front of the members. So they're saying, oh my gosh, there's always deals. And it's kind of cool because it creates kind of a little bit of a competition. If you've got 15, 20 members as you start out, even 5 members, and you put some great deals in front of these people, they're going to want to do these deals, and there's going to be some competition. They're going to have to learn. They're going to have to act quickly, or they're not going to participate. So you want to stick to that, bring deals in. You want to have a concise agenda and a regular length meeting. Don't go for these long, drawn-out meetings. You want to encourage members to find their own deals, charge for participation, as we mentioned, and then I would always offer coaching for a fee, because occasionally our members would show up and say, I found this deal and I'm going to do this one, and I'd like to get some help, but I'm going to try it on my own. And I would always charge coaching for a fee and get involved. And of course, we would recommend that if they were a title company person, that they used the contractor for the remodel, and they used the architect for the plans that got drawn, and they used the mortgage broker that needed it for the loan that they got, and they used our appraiser for the appraisal, and they used all of these different people in the group. So and I did a lot of coaching and participation out of this. Now, a couple of things you want to avoid with your power team when you get set up is members have a poor attitude or do not participate. And I would tell them right up front, if you don't come, I'm just going to fire you, and you're done. I'm going to chuck you. And that's going to be, and I made very clear that the fee that they would pay to get set up was for 1 year, but it was non-refundable. And if they failed to participate or failed to be active and aggressive and ethical and positive, I'd terminate them when they lose their sign-up fee. And you have to do that. Occasionally, we'd had to remove people who just didn't participate well and didn't do well. You have to avoid, number 2, clicks within the group. Encourage relationships with testimonials. So you want to make sure some of the people will get along naturally, and some of them will have history outside of the group with the business you've done. But you want to make sure that you have no clicks within the group. The next thing is you want to watch for poor attendance. If people are not participating, chuck them. They need to be out of the group there. So that's going to be a really important part of what we're doing here. Now, let's kind of talk about a few of these people right here and what they do and how they do it and how it will function and benefit you, because this is a really crucial part of this. So who belongs in the power team? And literally, you want to shoot for as many members as you can. 25, 30 members would be optimal. I've had great power teams that function really, really well with 10 people. So we have all kinds of things throughout. The idea is the more the merrier. The more of the different businesses that you get involved with, the more success you're going to have. So the first thing I'd recommend here is that you start out with a lender. Now, you'll notice here on the screen I've got 5 different lenders: a residential, conventional lender, commercial lender, private money lender, portfolio lender. There's also other lenders that you can use, hard money lenders. These guys are good to have around, but I just pick a traditional residential or conventional lender to get started. You might want to start with a hard money person as well, kind of a private money lender, hard money lender that's an institution, not a professional with big pockets. So you want to make sure that you're working with a professional company to get started in that regard. You can bring in investors, the escrow or title agents, the insurance agents, the general contractors, painters, remodeling contractors, handyman, mail carriers. Now, mail carrier is an interesting one. Someone might ask, well, gosh, mail carriers are not in and around real estate. Well, gosh, these guys see an enormous amount of properties in their work during the day. They also get to see a lot of the mail that comes back and forth. And I'll tell you, you ask a mail carrier, can you tell when there's a distressed home and a distressed person financially in a home by the mail that you deliver? And they will tell you, absolutely, we can tell what's going on, and it's pretty clear which homes are struggling. And they are a great option that way. We would bring in utility people that work for the gas company, the electric company, the water company. And part of the reason is because they cover a lot of real estate and they can look for deals for you as they're driving around as a regular part of their business. But also, there's a lot of distress in what they do. You can imagine, for example, I live here in Utah. Somebody gets their gas shut off in the middle of winter. It's a very, very stressful situation. And that's a person that may or may not be losing their home. I mean, one of the last things you'd stop paying in your life before if things were bad, is your gas in the middle of winter. It gets below freezing often, and often stays for days and days below freezing. Now, there's ways to get information from this. The gas guy might not just call you and say, hey, the guy at 123 Elm Street, I just shut off his gas, give him a call. I had a gas guy that didn't feel comfortable doing that, and I didn't ask him to. So what he would do is he'd say, hey, Mike, on Jones Street, from First to Second, First Avenue to Second Avenue, on the north side of the street, there's 10 homes there. I'd recommend you go knock them a few times, and just use your normal door knock approach, which is, number one, hey, do you know anyone that's considering buying or selling in the area? Do you know anyone that's any distressed properties or homeowners, and have you considered selling? And so we'd go and knock a group of doors, and if somebody said something, great. If they didn't say something, great. That's their choice. But we were there, and we offered the opportunity. And a lot of times we'd knock, and that person would say, hey, I'm distressed right now. What can you do for me? How can we help? And we'd talk to them. And that, you don't want to knock those doors and say, hey, it's really cold outside. Can I come in and warm up? And then notice they don't have their gas on. I mean, you would never do something like that. So you want to be professional and ethical. So, but those are good ones. CPAs get to see a lot of when people have massive equity positions in properties, when they have holdings in their IRA, their 401ks. They get to see when there's property sales. They get to see when someone sells a property and doesn't do a 1031 tax deferred exchange, and therefore is facing a big capital gains tax. They get to see a lot of these things. And so what these people, the financial planners, the divorce attorneys, the tax attorneys, corporate attorneys, the plumbers, what these people, and here's a whole other group of them, are looking for, again, are distressed people, distressed property, and capital. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to start finding distressed people and distressed property and capital for you. And what I want to do is take 4 or 5 of these or 3 of these and show you exactly how they might find distressed people or property and capital for the group. And it's really cool how it works. So let's take a couple of examples here. The first one that we might work with is, let's go to a real simple one, a divorce attorney, for example. Now, divorce attorney is, I mean, there's not a more distressful place for people typically than someone if they're getting a divorce. And oftentimes divorces result in the court ordering a piece of real estate that the married couple might own. And if that gets sold, a lot of times those get sold for significant discounts because it's a court-ordered sale and they get through it, and that's a fantastic benefit that way. The divorce attorneys also get to see clients that come in that don't have a lot of money, clients that come in that have a lot of money. They get to see the division of assets, who gets what. And it's really easy for them at some point during the process to say, hey, you're dividing up your assets. What are your plans moving forward? We've got some people that can help you with investing if you're interested in that, or if you need to liquidate some property, we've got some people that can help with that. Can I have them give you a call? It doesn't have to be any more aggressive than that. So a great option that way. Tax attorneys are good ones, corporate attorneys. Now, another one that's a good one, and let me just kind of use an example of an insurance agent. I love insurance agents simply because insurance agents get to see all kinds of distress. They typically don't get a call unless something's wrong. If someone got in a car crash, a devastating car crash, someone had the house burned down, or someone had their house flood, or a hurricane came and took the roof off the house. I mean, they get all kinds of distress. They see that. The other unique thing about an insurance agent is they also see financial distress. I mean, can you imagine how distressed someone might be if their car insurance stops getting paid? Or the worse, the home insurance on their house stops getting paid. So these guys see an enormous amount of distress here, and that becomes a real issue for them. So they can start spotting people that are in distress, and they call, hey, Bob, I noticed that your home insurance expired. Oh, okay, you changed debit cards. Let me go ahead and take care of that for you. That might be one reason. But the other reason might be Bob lost his job, Bob's getting a divorce, and there's not money to take care of that. Well, we're in a precarious situation when Bob doesn't have his home insurance. There's some risk there. So we want to make sure that that's taken care of. And they also know the clients that they have that have assets. You know, most clients that will insure a car with an insurance agent will also insure their house and will also insure their rentals. So if someone's got 3 or 4 rentals, hey, Fred, you're doing great with these rentals. I know somebody that buys and sells a ton of property. You interested in talking to them? If you're ever interested in talking to them, let me know. They can show you some great investing techniques. And you might have somebody there that's interested in buying some real estate, that's interested in being a part of your group or investing in deals that you're doing. And these guys can find that. So another example is your title company. Title companies are fantastic because they get to see the purchase and the purchase and sale of real estate a lot, constantly. So they get to see how much money someone has down, how much equity they have on refis. They get to see when someone sells a real estate asset that's a rental that either chooses to do a 1031 tax deferred exchange or chooses not to do a 1031 tax deferred exchange and is facing a capital gains tax. And they might want to offset that capital gains tax with some investing. They also see a lot of deals where title companies get a real estate transaction ordered, so it's started, and then it fails. So the transaction gets broken up for some reason. The buyer doesn't qualify, the seller has a problem with the property, the inspector blows it up, the property doesn't appraise for the value, and there's always lots of unhappy people here. And a simple comment of, hey, I got a guy that specializes in this kind of stuff, can give you a call. And we can get involved and see if there's some way we can benefit the power team. So you're teaching each of these people here. Remodeling contractors, for example, those guys typically only go out when someone's not happy with their house, which is a great time because they're considering moving. They also, I have a remodeling contractor, and I love to say, hey, you know, a lot of times those guys are pretty expensive, more than people think. And if somebody's not happy with their home and they want to remodel and they get the bid and it's way more than they thought and they can't afford it, hey, I got a guy that can help you with this kind of situation. A lot of times remodeling contractors go in because there's huge distress. A car ran into the house. I mean, all the different things that can go wrong with properties. So you want to make sure you have this group around you. And these people are going to start asking questions as people naturally in the course of their businesses start talking about investing, or if there's distressed people or distressed properties, they can do something as simple as, oh my gosh, I'm sorry you're getting divorced, Betty. I'm so sorry to hear that. I've got a guy that specializes in property and real estate, and if you have some assets and holdings there, can I have him give you a call? If you want me to, let me know, and I'll have him reach out to you. So just a simple, innocuous approach that way works great. Now, some of these other ones are great too, and some of them might seem kind of silly, like the up here on the right-hand side, morticians and assisted living facilities, but you'd be surprised how many times a mortician has to deal with financial issues with the family, whether there's lots of assets or no assets, and you'd be surprised how many of them get talked to about the real estate assets that mom or dad or whoever that just passed away has to liquidate or get rid of or deal with. The assisted living facility people are fantastic because these guys typically work in and around lots of people who have assets and money. I mean, a person has to have money to be taken care of in an assisted living facility, and a lot of times these people will come in and they'll just burn out their assets living in one of these facilities for their care. And if there's a way for them to invest some of that money and get paid interest, so it doesn't just use up all the capital they have, a lot of those people are very, very excited. Now, if you're going to work with assisted living facilities, I recommend you never, never, never talk to the patients that are there without them having an heir or a professional there. You never want to talk to them and get commitments alone. You always want someone that's I prefer best a son, daughter, somebody that's younger, that's in the best part of the health of their life and can help advise mom or dad in whatever situation they're in. So a lot of these are fantastic deals and can produce lots and lots. An engineer's another one that's very exciting. Engineers, if you get a good engineer on the projects that you draw and the things that you have broken down, there's going to provide a lot of information for you, a lot of benefit that way. There'll be a solution on a lot of deals. But the other thing they see too is a lot of times people come in and start working with an engineer. The engineer starts working on the project. They find out the project doesn't work and it fails. And so the engineer is aware of lots of properties that people start doing things on that fail. And it's very easy for them to say, gosh, what are your options? And we can't make this work this way. What options do you have? Because I know a guy that specializes in this kind of stuff, and I've seen him do a whole bunch of real estate. Should I have him give you a call? Are you interested in talking to him? So there's a lot of ways to find. Again, the three things we're looking for here are distressed people, distressed properties, and capital. Distressed people, distressed properties, and capital. There's lots of ways we can get access to all these things. And then the best part about all these groups of people here is they see a ton of people. They get access in some regards to their real estate. They get access to some regards into their finances. And they get access to working with people so they know if they're distressed or not. So that gives us a fantastic option when needed. Now, you don't have to go around every time you do your deal. Hey, are you interested in selling? And I have some people that do that, and they're very good at it. You don't have to do that. So I'm just wait until, if I see 10 clients in a day and one of them's in a mess, that you might make that recommendation to that one client and not the other 9. You can do that as often as you like. And it can be very powerful that way. Now, you want to take the following actions to grow and facilitate your power team. The first thing you want to do is pick members of the team to get started. You want to start meetings as soon as you get one qualified person in the group. You want to begin to drip campaign of mailers, phone calls, and flyers to your group and to the area of expertise that you're going to be working in. During these meetings and in the interviews and in all the communications you have, you want to share investing strategies and future potential with each member. These guys will get really excited. You want to get them investing in properties. Experience is power. I tell you, you get somebody to do one thing one time. Get them to do one thing one time, and it becomes very, very powerful after that for them to do this on a high level. Next, you'll have them begin raising capital and partnering on deals. So they'll put money in. They'll start working on deals. Then you want to force the referral activity and watch the frenzy. And so you get these people all work together in a group. You get them all set up, and you'll see an enormous amount of activity within the group. And then you want to try, I find that I try to do this pretty regularly, is I want to at least reach out to them and contact them at least once a month or more. Now, in the course of my business, I'll be reaching out to a lot of these people anyway, but I want to reach out to them at least once a month or more so that I keep a pulse on the group and see how they're doing, make sure they're not unhappy about something or there's some problem. I can kind of get involved and take care of it. And this is also a chance for me to take them aside a little bit and say, hey, let's get you involved in this. Where are you at on this? How can we get you rolling with this? And they like that personal attention, and they paid you some money, so it makes some sense that you would do that for them. And you can go from there. So fantastic options that way. Personal involvement in the group. And outside of the meeting. So you'll get them investing in properties, begin raising the capital. That contact is crucial so they feel a valued member. You want to make sure this is a great way to see if any cliques are forming or problems, or once in a while you'll say, hey, Bob, I hired Bob to do this and it didn't go well, and Bob's not returning my calls, and you hate to be the official, but you want to keep the peace in the group and make sure. And if you got somebody that's not taking care of business, you need to deal with it right away. And if they still don't take care of business, you're going to run them from the group. So there's always a positive feeling going on with what you're doing. So here's a short agenda that we have, and we'll kind of end with this today. The short agenda being, these are how the meetings might run. These are the things that you want to contact or get through. And you want to do this on a regular basis. And some of these things are crucial. Actually, all of them are important, but some of them are crucial. We'll go through this. The first thing you'll do is stand up and open your meeting. Hey, how's it going? Second thing you'll do is personal introductions. And you got to really watch this, because if you got 10 or 15 members and people get wordy. They like to talk about themselves. You can even use a timer, a 30-second timer with a beep. And when it beeps, you sit down. And they'll get in the habit of this, and it might seem harsh, but you know what? If you have 20 members and each of them take 1 or 2 minutes, your whole meeting's gone. So you just buzz through the group. Hey, I'm Mike. I'm a real estate agent, or I'm a mortgage broker. I'm a building contractor. I'd love to work with you. I specialize in residential and commercial. And that's it. That's the whole introduction. So what they do in their business, they can explain what they can do for the group. If you want, you can do a 5-minute spotlight for one member a week, or one member a meeting if you're meeting every 2 weeks. I don't know that this is crucial. This is more of a feel-good thing for them to feel like they're getting value. But you'll see there's going to be a lot of referrals back and forth. And you don't need a painter to stand up and say, I'm a painter, and let me show you the painting that I do. And my painting is great for people in the room to understand if they need a painter that they should use that guy. So you can decide whether or not you do that portion. Next, you're going to have a real estate lesson. Something, and I love to have something powerful, short, succinct, direct, something 10, 12 minutes that is really effective, that might be about whatever you want to do. And then it also helps that you would have that powerful real estate lesson to go with the next item, which is a review of current deals. So what we do is we go over any deals that are in transaction. So anybody that's invested in deals, partnering in deals, buying, selling deals, we do just a real brief overview of them and point out, okay, the real estate lesson we just had, this is how this is working in this deal. And hey, Bob's doing this deal over here, and this is how that works. And we're doing this deal over here with Jane, Sue, and Sally. This is how this works over here. The next part, and which is typically the most exciting part, is a review of new deals that we'll bring into the group and say, hey, this one I want to put down as a partnership opportunity. If anyone wants to partner with me on these deals, here's what we have. And I would typically hand out something that would include how the deal was found, what we anticipate the highest and best use of the change to be, how we're going to create and enhance equity with that, the timelines on the deals, how the finances or participation would be involved, and then the financial numbers on the deal, and pass that out to everybody and let them decide if they want to get involved. And I'd say if you put anything with any kind of excitement on it out, you're going to have a ton of people that were interested. And that was a fantastic benefit that way, to pass these deals along, to get the new group participation, to get these things going. And then you would set your next meeting and give assignments. Then you'd send or passing referrals. And I didn't really regulate this like they might in a business group. I just said, hey, if you need to talk to someone in the group, we're going to have 15, 20 minutes. And we usually have some refreshments so people could sit around and chat and talk after and take a look at that. And then we close. Now, when we started clicking and doing really well with the group, one of the things we do is at the end, we talk about the deals that were available. We'd set the next meeting, give assignments, and we'd often then go hop in our cars and go see the deal. And even though we would do our meetings on Tuesday nights from 7 to 9, we'd hop in the cars at 8:30, 8:40, and we'd go drive to a spot, and people would walk through it, and I'd kind of explain the deal on site, and here's what it is, here's how it works, here's what you do. And if anybody's interested in partnering, and I tell you, when you do that on site, in person, people go nuts. And you take 25 people over, and you can only have 1 or 2 partners, or it might be one that you're offering for someone to purchase in their portfolio. And of course, you're getting all of these people pre-qualified with the lender, getting all of these people set up with their financials to understand how they can purchase and win real estate. And then it's a fantastic option for them to do some great deals there. So you're going to have some really, really neat benefits of creating that frenzy. And these guys know every week, if they show up and there's something exciting and they want to be involved in it, they have to act immediately. There's no, let me get back to you next week. And then oftentimes we go back to the office, guys, around 9 o'clock, 8:30, 8:45, 9 o'clock after we'd see these deals. And we'd stay sometimes till 10 or 11 o'clock writing offers and putting deals together and setting up partnerships, and people would stay, and it was really exciting. So you can get that enthusiasm going and take that to a high level. So there you have it. That's a power team dissemination. And again, I want to tell you, I've never had in my system someone that had a highly functioning power team that didn't have a $1 million or multi-million-dollar portfolio. Just never have. And that's why we called it the power team. I know that word power is awesome, but it can sometimes feel a little trite because it does get a little overused. But this is powerful, putting this many people together. Again, the goal is for them to help you find distressed people, distressed property, and capital, and to start working those ways. Now, one of the things I've done a lot of, and would be happy to do, I've been a guest speaker many times for power teams in and around my system. So if you have a functioning power team and it's on a high level, I'd be more than happy to come in and help you out and speak and get people involved. I'm very good also at coming in, and if you want to have a launch, I've done some launch meetings where they'll have 20, 30 professionals show up, and they're trying to get them to sign up and pay a fee to get involved. And I would come in and do those meetings and speak those and tell them what the power meeting is and how it'll affect them and what it'll do for them, and introduce the power team leader to them and tell them my relationship to them and how they're going to have support and help from me in their real estate investing. And I'm more than happy to get involved on power teams with your groups too, in some form or fashion. So keep that posted. Now, what I want to do, or that in mind, now what I want to do again is just kind of buzz back through what we're trying to do with this business real quickly. It's going to take 2 or 3 minutes to do that because this is really important. And again, I get asked everywhere I go, Mike, what's the hallmarks of a successful investor? Mike, what makes somebody profitable and someone else not? And I want to just share a couple of those things with you really quickly. So again, we're going to talk about this real quickly. The first thing is when you talk about success, so the characteristics you're looking for in investors, you have to have vision. You have to create systems. You have to have leverage. If you don't have systems and leverage, you'll never be bigger than you currently are. Your vision has to be big enough to invite and excite and influence other people around you. So you have this opportunity. That's what power teams are all about here. Power teams are all about this. And that's going to be something fantastic for you. And what you're going to do with them too is you're going to help them master the foundation of success just like you have. We're going to buzz through this in 20 seconds. You got to know the foundation of success. You have to have a powerful reason why. That's that vision. And the why can contain why you're doing something and who you're doing it for, or who you're doing it because of. Those are different things. Next, you're going to begin to find properties using competing and non-competing methods. And again, all of these people in your power team, my goodness, all of these people are going to be able to start bringing you deals and working on a high level to get this competing and non-competing methods and those things done. Number 4, we're going to start analyzing those properties for highest and best use. Again, the use change, we're going to find those deals. Number 5, we'll write offers with the 2 OPMs. Those are other people's money and other people's mortgages. It'll be amazing how many people will get involved with your power team and start investing on these deals. Number 6, we're going to put the property back up for sale. Number 7, we'll create and enhance equity. And that's basically the use change. So we're going to take the property from what it was, change it to what it is. Then we're going to either sell it for a profit or refinance it for an equity position. And lastly, we're going to prosper. And this is the whole point, the entire point of the power team, is to create a supersized effort with all these fantastic people to get this done. So this is a power team. This foundation of success lends itself perfectly to a power team and getting things done on a high level. So we want to make sure that we have this running and off and going, and a fantastic option that way. So powerful teams are created with power teams, and that leads us to our success. So guys, have a great week. Happy investing, and we'll talk to you soon.